Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be going through the top 10 Piggy secrets that you may have forgotten about. So these top 10 secrets are going to be things that we all recognize, but maybe we have all forgotten about these specific things, and could potentially lead us into solving the story of Piggy. Now I'm doing this video because I did a 30 fun facts video the other day, and it seemed as though you guys did enjoy that video. So if you would like to see more videos like this, then please let me know in the comment section down below. So without further ado guys, let's jump in to the top 10 Piggy secrets. Number 1, the binoculars. So this one was actually a pretty big one when the alleys did actually come out. But it seems as though we have all forgotten about these binoculars, and as we do now know that William kind of went missing, maybe these binoculars actually have something to do with the disappearance of William. Now these binoculars were actually found in the top story of the Leo's laundromat, and there were basically two little kind of like Wally eyes just staring out. So maybe these binoculars do have something to do with William's disappearance. So maybe something that we need to keep an eye out for in the future. Number 2, the whiteboard. Now we have had 2 whiteboard messages inside of Piggy, and they were really difficult to try and figure out. So the first whiteboard message actually appeared in the school map, and that whiteboard message did actually read out saying, "I feel everything I do. I can't control my actions. I can't help myself. My mind yells for help, but my body does not agree. I wish the world would understand." Now considering that this actually came out in the school map, we are potentially leading towards this being teacher. However, I have said this before in previous videos. Now the reason why I want to call this one a little bit of a secret is if the body does not agree, then how is this person actually writing on a whiteboard? So could there actually be somebody else out there that is writing this on the whiteboard, pretending to be an infected? We also had a second whiteboard message which did appear in the outpost once she kind of blew up the door with the tank, and that whiteboard message actually read out saying, "I was attacked by one of them, and now I am here wandering just like them." Now of course, because this one also came out in the outpost, maybe this one was the torture. However, at this point it's kind of difficult to try and figure out what sort of characters are canon and which sort of characters are not. Now we have no other reason to actually believe that this was torture that did write this. However, again, there could be somebody out there that is pretending to be infected. Number 3, true ending credits. Now I think that I speak on the behalf of maybe roughly 100% of us when saying that the true ending was a pain in the butt to get. However, one thing that maybe quite a few of us actually did miss is that in the true ending credits, all of the characters, all of the infected characters were actually missing. So we had a good ending and we had a bad ending, and both of those actually did come with the credits as well. And in those credits, all of the infected characters were in the credits. However, but because none of those were actually true, none of those endings actually happened, we are only interested in the true ending credits, and all we do know is that all the infected went missing. Now where have those infected disappeared to? Well, I think that that's maybe potentially something that we're going to just wait to have to find out. Number 4, the ghosts. Now this is most definitely something that all of us will remember, but it was a pretty big secret and a pretty big talking point when these ghosts actually did come out. So the first appearance of a ghost was Bunny in the outpost, up in the tower, and that was a pretty big talking point when everybody saw that ghost. Everybody thought that Bunny had potentially died at the end of the Metro map. However, it kind of shows the ghost in the tower, so maybe it's kind of a living ghost, potentially maybe it's a dead ghost. I mean, nobody really knows exactly how it actually works out. However, I'm sure a lot of us have played this map by now, but in the plant map, right at the end, in the final battle with Mr. P, you can clearly see that Bunny and Doggy are both glitching around the map. So maybe they're out there somewhere and that their souls were just potentially taken by something. Because I mean, let's face it, we normally have haunted houses because somebody has potentially died or passed away in that house, meaning that their soul or their ghost or their presence remains in that house. However, Doggy actually kind of got infected way back in the forest and he never died. He was infected. He was still walking around that forest. As well as Bunny, she most definitely probably by now got infected at the end of the Metro. However, her soul, her presence, then decided to go on to the plant as well as Doggy. So that is one thing that is slightly confusing, but one of the biggest secrets that I think that Piggy has potentially ever came out with. Number 5, Mr. Stitchy knows. Now in a Halloween update, we had a brand new skin that kind of has now left a bit of a mark on us all, and this was the Mr. Stitchy skin that we had to spawn in the forest, and this actually came with 4 notes. So I'm just going to read those 4 notes out right now. Now this one is in the carnival, and this one says, "When he learnt of my condition, he grew sad and frustrated. He left." Another note that came out in the carnival, this one says, "Someone began to disrupt the countryside. The descriptions of witnesses matched his look. I never saw him again." So maybe we just have to try and find that witness. The next one came in the school map. Now this one says, "I gave him a face. I was his only friend." And finally, this one came out in the forest, just where you spawn in Mr. Stitchy. This one says, "Do not draw the house with light. It will draw him too." Now, Mr. Stitchy also does appear in quite a few maps. He appears in the alleys. He also appears in the house. He also obviously appears in the forest because that's where you spawn him in. He also appears in the school, and he also appears in the carnival. Now, it's quite interesting that he has not been seen for quite some time. He was hanging around in the early stages of the whole entire Piggy story. But Mr. Stitchy had not been seen since. Number 6, the Insolence. Now, the Insolence is a pretty big talking point within Piggy Book 2. And courtesy of a good friend of mine, JB Bolter, he managed to get Pony to actually say this word. The Insolence watches. Huh? What did I just say? A strange voice just came into my head, but I don't remember what it told me. So JB had absolutely no idea how he managed to get Pony to say these words. So either it's a very, very random thing, or it's just extremely hard to actually get Pony to trigger saying this. However, there were also another couple of secret messages that I am going to go through here. So Minitoon also tweeted out at one point a bunch of letters and numbers. And at first this kind of just looked like a jumble of words, but guys, it was actually a secret message. Now this message actually read out saying, "The eye doth watch from the underneath. The eye doth seek those who are meek." Now if that ain't some Shakespearean poop, I don't know what is. So it was a pretty interesting set of lines right there. "The eye doth watch from the underneath, the eye doth seek those who are meek." Very, very interesting. But also in the safe place, we also had another note. Now this one looked very, very similar to what Minitoon had once tweeted. And this one does also give us a secret message. And now this one actually reads out saying, "The Insolence watches thy crimes, those that will haunt thou for lifetimes." Okay, this is most definitely Shakespearean because of the thou bit. And the thy, like, come on. So there is most definitely some form of secret entity going on here. Number 7, George's infection. Now, way back in book 1, we actually got a secret map called the Distorted Memory. And in this map were quite a few secrets. We had those red eyes in the sky, man. Those things are still giving me nightmares. And one thing that I bet that quite a few of us have actually forgotten about is that George got infected. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say to me that he was in a dream. You know, he was dreaming, he was sleeping, it was just his nightmare, and etc, etc, etc. However, guys, George actually woke up in the cutscene, meaning that it was now real life. So this is an extremely weird, distorted memory. And we know that the Insolence has been speaking to Pony, it's been speaking to the player, and potentially in the future, it is going to be speaking to George. In my opinion, part of the infection, it actually lays in Pony, the player, and George. I feel like those 3 characters, they have some form of the infection inside them, which is why these guys are being able to speak to the Insolence. But don't forget, guys, that George is infected. He has this infection thing going on, and it has also happened to him before, because he says, oh no, not now. Number 8, don't trust the SI. Now, we got a secret note in the mall map, and this note was kind of cut off half of it, and it was really frustrating for everybody, but it was a really, really good idea. Now, this note basically said, don't trust the SI. Now, people were going through it, maybe people were thinking sisters, don't trust the signal, don't trust the simp. I don't know. However, it kind of came out that people were thinking that it was don't trust the silver paw, which we now know is TSP. However, I have included this secret in here because I feel like this still is not confirmed. This could well still be something else. It may not even be speaking about the silver paw. This note is speaking as if we are going to trust something at some point, but we are being warned to not actually trust it. Now, we were never actually going to trust the silver paw because we had Pony by our side. So maybe there is something out there potentially. No, I say this all the time. I feel like it is still going to be don't trust the signal, and that it is going to be something to do with that beacon in the flashback trailer. But don't let this one slip your mind, guys, because I still feel that this don't trust the SI note does mean something else. Number 9, ZIZZY'S sword. Now, in the safe place in book 2, this one is a pretty quick one actually. ZIZZY'S sword, it kind of went missing. So we had Z, we had ZIZZY in the safe place, and they both escaped through a vent. However, both of their swords actually laid there in the safe place. However, ZIZZY had her own room, and in ZIZZY'S room, the sword was not there. Now, this could tie in with the fact that ZIZZY is about to cut off her own arm because she got infected in the refinery because she got scratched by Polly. So maybe ZIZZY has still got her sword potentially, or somebody has got her sword, taken it to ZIZZY, and is going to cut her arm off. And then potentially ZIZZY is going to make a return, but robotically. Number 10, Mrs. P's appearances. So finally, guys, now we are going to speak about Mrs. P. Now, Mrs. P and kind of William, I suppose, are the main talking point about this whole Piggy storyline. Mrs. P, she got, she got oofed. Okay, no, so Mrs. P, she actually got unwell with a disease called linioma, however you guys would like to say it. But still, we have no idea what has actually happened to William. But potentially a secret that, again, we are all overlooking. Now, Mrs. P was, in fact, in a window in the city. Now, what does this mean that Mrs. P was seen in the window of the city? Well, guys, Minitoon kind of basically confirmed it in an interview, saying that Mrs. P is infected. So maybe at some point we are going to be running across lines with Mrs. P. But she's not going to be quite the same little Mrs. P that we remember. I think the next time that we see Mrs. P, she's gonna potentially have some red eyes on her. But guys, only time will tell. So guys, those were my top 10 secrets in Piggy that you may have forgotten. Now I would say that most of those secrets were kind of pondering in the back of my mind, but just to bring them up and just to freshen all the secrets in our mind, it kind of gets us a little bit closer to trying to figure out the story of Piggy. But again guys, if you would like to see more videos like this, then make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys did enjoy this, then maybe consider subscribing. But anyway, that is going to be it from us today. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we shall see you guys in the next one.